Hey, we're veritably on time here tonight with the Fantasy NBA today. The late night fantasy goodies. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, aka Dr. A. Huge show for you. Big old slate on Thursday night. We got some injury news. We got all-star starters being announced. So let's talk about our sponsor and then dive into all of these goodies, man. And we'll hear from Dr. A with his Magic Man of the Night. Bet Online, our great sponsor, continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. Did you know that? You do now. From touchdowns to three-pointers and hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Doc, before we get into our Magic Man and the breakdown of Thursday night, we say bye-bye to Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets. There was a chance he was going to have a breakout year. That has not unfolded. We will see him again in year 3. Underwent surgery to repair the torn scapholinate ligament in his right wrist. Ruled out for the rest of the season. You take it from here. What are the ripple effects of this injury? And we certainly wish Brandon Miller well in his recovery. But start us off here with the fantasy spin on this Brandon Miller news.
I mean, it's the Hornets, right? They have 11 wins. They're in the Cooper flag hunt. We know LaMelo Ball's probably not going to finish out the season. There's no stock answer for who picks up the slack in Brandon's absence. I think our guy Nick Smith Jr. has a real shot to be a silly season champion. Josh Green could do the same. And it's more goodies for Miles Bridges and Mark Williams as long as they let them play. I just don't see a run don't walk pickup because Brandon Miller's out. I think Nick Smith Jr. is probably, if you're trying to hit a home run and pick up a guy that's not rostered in most leagues, to me, he's the best bet. We've seen Josh Green. We know he's just not capable of putting up huge numbers. Nick Smith, it looks like the guy to me.
I agree. With Josh Green, Doc, the box score does not love Josh Green, and Josh Green does not love the box score back. He's a defensive guy who doesn't take very many shots. And frankly, he doesn't even turn the defense into like blocks and steals. He's just a solid player. He's a solid 3-and-D guy, not a statistic guy at all. So that's not going to happen. Doc, is Trey Mann done for the year? Like, eventually Trey Mann may be coming back, right? Last year he was a silly season hero. And I agree with you on Nick Smith. But if Trey Mann can get back and get healthy, he will, I believe, usurp Nick Smith and become that beneficiary, but he's got to get healthy, and who knows? He's probably already been shut down for the year in Charlotte, and my guy Trey Mann is completely off the radar right now. I do think this is good news for Mark Williams, Doc. I don't think it's going to change LaMelo Ball or Miles Bridges. I think they were in their roles as the 1 and the 2, and they're going to get their shots and their usage rate and do their thing. But I don't think Mark Williams has a 38-point game if Brandon Miller is in the lineup that night. So I think there's going to be some more goodies for Mark Williams here. But Doc is right. Nick Smith is the guy to look for off the waiver wire. Doc, let's talk about the all-star starters being announced. We are inching closer to a game that nobody cares about, although they're chopping it up into like all these separate teams and stuff like that, which I think will be interesting. They had to change it. But, Doc, it's always interesting to talk about who made the team and who did not, okay? And the starters came out. Let's begin in the West. Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic. You say, that's very chalky. Not for me. I had Anthony Edwards, but it was a coin flip between him and some other guards, including Curry, so I'm okay with that. Kevin Durant makes it because he's Kevin Durant. But Anthony Davis has had a way better season, has way more wins, and deserved to have a spot in the starting lineup. It's not a huge deal. But Doc, I didn't even have, you know what I mean? I don't get all butthurt about the starters, right? It's the guys that don't make the team at all, like my guy Domantas Sabonis. And the fact that Durant made the team, and he was going to make the team, he's Kevin Durant, but he didn't make my all-star team, Doc. I think he did make yours. Durant being on here means that a Norman Powell, a Wemby, a Domantas Sabonis will not be on the Western Conference All-Star team. So how'd that 5 hit you?
Like you said, I mean, I don't really get fired up until we look at the coaches' picks. The rest of the team, Wemby's going to be an all-star, right? Especially after what he did today.
He better.
If he's not, then something's wrong. I think the guy.
Dude, are you going to melt down like Chernobyl if he does not make the All-Star team?
Yes. If he doesn't make it, I'll be more upset than you will be if Cade Cunningham doesn't make it. But I'll tell you what, the West starters to me look a lot more formidable than the East starters.
That's interesting, Doc. I haven't really looked at it from a competitive standpoint like that. I'm just kind of analyzing the players that are on the teams. So let's take a look at the East then, Doc, and take a look at Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, and Karl Anthony Towns. This to me makes a lot more sense than the West, where you have a popularity contest with Durant and Steph, and debatable whether they should be starters or not. The only debatable thing here to me is because it's Brunson, Mitchell, Giannis, Tatum, and Towns. The front court of Giannis, Tatum, and Towns, I mean, that's probably, I'll be more broad with it. Those guys right there are 3 of the top 5 MVP candidates, okay? Along, of course, with Jokic and SGA. So, of course, they're going to make the All-Star team. Donovan Mitchell, is the best player on the best team in the East, and then Jalen Brunson. You could maybe debate a little bit of Damian Lillard, but Brunson's numbers are just as good as Dame's, and the Knicks are not hugely better, but they're a game and a half better than the Milwaukee Bucks. So what was your reaction to the East starters being announced?
It made sense. You know, the Milwaukee Bucks are just weird to me. So Lillard versus Brunson, and Lillard had a snub performance tonight, didn't he? I mean, he had a near triple-double, big game. He's probably ticked off. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's not going to win the MVP. He had to be on the All-Star team and a starter because he's on the best team in the friggin' league. Or second best. I don't know. It all made sense. I have no problem with any of it. I'm happy for Cat. I think Cat needed to have a coach who believed in him, a team that believed in him, and somebody who was going to kind of kick his ass to make him go out there and bust it every night. And Cat has been phenomenal all year, and hats off to him.
Doc, I believe personally that it's more about the city that Cat is playing in than the coach. Because Cat played with Tom Thibodeau in Minneapolis, and we did not see this lion version of Karl Anthony Towns. Maybe the Patrick Beverley year when he was in Minnesota, and he kind of fired him up and created a little culture right there. And I saw Karl Anthony Towns howling at the moon more that year than I ever had. But he was with Tibbs in Minnesota. They didn't really get along. And I think because Karl Anthony Towns was still in his soft period, he's not soft anymore. Karl Anthony Towns is a badass out there. He's playing hurt. He might miss a game, but he's coming back a game or two later. In Minnesota, Doc, you know, like a 1-game injury was a 1 or 2 week injury for Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, the guy missed 1 million games and just didn't bring it like this. And I think it's New York City, Doc. I think it's being held accountable by the toughest city in America and the biggest media market in America, and a place where, Doc, you know this, all Knick fans want is for you to play fucking hard. That's all they want. okay, and they want to win. But if you play hard, we don't cuss, it's a family show. If you play hard, okay, they love you. And I think Cat has understood that. Yo, I can get away with not playing hard in Minnesota and they still love me. In New York, if you dog it, they're going to treat you like Julius freaking Randle.
Well, also, I think when he was in Minnesota, he never had championship aspirations, right?
Good point.
Now he's like, if I take a day off and we lose the game, what's that going to do to us down the road? Like, for whatever reason, man, these Knicks are dialed into what Thibodeau is doing, and they're out there every night. And I think it's probably also a little bit of, Cat has grown up and he's matured.
Good
and
point.
He's not the same guy he was 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, these guys come into the NBA now as, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Dude, when I was 19 and when you were 19, we were idiots. Like, we're out there doing just stupid stuff, and none of it on national TV. And it takes, by the time we figure out, oh man, how did I even live to be as old as I am right now? These guys have already been through the blender and been in the spotlight. I just think it took him. I'm just going to call him a late bloomer. Cat's been amazing, and Thibodeau, New York. I thought Cat was going to get to New York and melt under the spotlight. I didn't think he was going to be able to handle it, but he's embraced it. He's like, let's go, give it to me. Let's go try to win the East and see what happens in the finals. And I don't put it past him.
How about the New York Knicks? 2 starters. First time that Karl Anthony Towns has started an all-star game. Okay, Doc, let's move in to a thrilling Thursday night slate in the NBA. We had some tasty matchups here. We had some incredible individual performances, Doc. Where are you going? Are you going to Wemby in France? Or are you going to Ball Arena? Where are you going with your Magic Man here, bro?
Wemby was my Magic Man, but then a little something else happened. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie. I took a little nap tonight, about 20-minute cat nap.
A little day drinking? Is that why you took a nap?
No. I've just been having to get up early. We're putting together a baby nursery and redoing a bathroom. I got guys in my house doing stuff. I've been dealing with Home Depot BS. I'm over it, but they're wearing me out. I looked at the score, at the box score. Nikola Jokic tried, and he came close to putting up a 30-20-20 line. He ended up with 35 points, 22 rebounds, 17 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and 2 threes. And guess what? He took 19 shots, hit 12 of 19, 9 of 10 free throws. Unbelievable. If you didn't have Jokic on your DFS FanDuel DraftKings squad, you probably didn't win tonight. I was proud of myself because I had Robert Williams, and he was like the number one, over his value guy. He balled out for him and for his price. But man, Jokic, what a whale of a line. And my biggest question about Jokic, Rick, is does this do anything to move the MVP arrow in his favor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doc, not for me. I mean, I'm aware, I don't think that SGA has put the MVP race to bed. He's just my guy right now. And I mean, I'll be honest. I do want SGA to win it, Doc. I do. And a lot of us with our MVP conversation, I mean, I'm not going to promote a guy that's unworthy, right? Clearly, Jokic and SGA are worthy. Giannis is worthy. Cat is worthy. They're all very worthy of MVP right now. SGA and Jokic are at a different level, I think, than Giannis and Cat. Dude, Jokic just had 35, 22, and 17. That doesn't make sense, bro. It's one of the greatest games ever played in NBA history. Dude, 35, 22, and 17. That's a week's worth of stats for a lot of guys. Check this out, Doc. He joins Wilt Chamberlain, of course it's Wilt, as the only players in NBA history with a game like this. It's him and Wilt.
Man, and the lowest scoring starter for Denver in a win over the Kings had 18 points. Westbrook and Jamal Murray both scored 18. Porter had 20. Christian Brown had 21. And then Wemby had 35. The bench didn't do anything. It's just an incredible performance, man. And you know what? Domantas Sabonis, bless his heart, played great. I mean, he did everything he could do. And it wasn't even nearly enough. And the other Magic Man of the night that I think you're probably going to pick had an incredible day. And he was eating croissants. And he was serving people croissants. And everybody in the audience was eating croissants. Just what a game by Jokic, man. It's hard to fathom.
So they're calling it a let's see, it's 50 by 92. Okay, 92 minus 15 is what, 77? Jokic made a 77-footer tonight. He basically made a shot from the other free throw line, and it was a little bit off to the right. And I mean, at the end of a quarter, just turned and threw it like an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary throw to the end zone, splash. The guy's ridiculous. We don't usually go with the same Magic Man. I mean, I gotta dap up Nikola Jokic. I mean, I just do. This game is incredible. Doc, with this performance tonight by Nikola Jokic, okay, the 17 assists is what really catches my eye. I know he had a 20-20 and a 30-20 and all that kind of stuff. He had 17 assists. So I'm like, whoa, did he just move up above 10 assists per game? Boom, he did. He's at 10.1 assists per game, Doc. Nikola Jokic, right now, is averaging a triple-double, Doc. He's at 30, 13, and 10. He's also at 2 steals and 2 threes per game, okay? It's one of the greatest stat lines ever authored up by a human being who's played NBA basketball. Doc, you know that this is an MVP stat line for Nikola Jokic, right? Like any other year, it's his, and it's a landslide, and it's a blowout, and it might even be unanimous. But SGA has other ideas. So, yes, this is interesting. This is all right, SGA did what he did. Now it's my turn to answer. Okay, so I think it was a very impressive performance by Jokic, historic, and very impactful for MVP. So to keep us moving here, Doc, tip of the cap to Wemby and what he did. And let's move into that game right now, Doc, because Wemby and the Spurs, we talked about this on Wednesday night. We both liked the Spurs plus 3.5. They won the game by 30, 140 to 110. Okay, viva la France, right? You've got Wemby, you've got Sohan, you've got the whole French connection historically with the Spurs. Hello. How could they not win this game? So I moved back to 10-9 ATS on the season. The Spurs needed the win. Wemby goes 30, 11, and 6 with 5 blocks, a steal, and 4 threes. Interesting, Doc. Let's get into the fantasy of it all here, okay? Sohan comes back after a lengthy absence. Off the bench, good game. 13, 9, and 3 in 18 minutes. Stephon Castle remained in the starting 5. 24 minutes, didn't do much with it, okay? Will Castle keep starting over Sohan, or is this a minutes restriction thing? And will Harrison Barnes continue to start over Sohan if they're saying that Stephon Castle is good to go in that starting lineup? Break this down.
I don't know. I have no idea. Harry Barnes, Harry B, hit 9 of 10 shots, scored 20 points with 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 triples. Like, he's like, you want to take me out of the starting lineup? Okay, fine. Do it. Uh, Harry B just keeps chirping along, man. And my thing with Stephon Castle is you've already got Vassell and Chris Paul in there, right? So do you need 3 guards in that lineup? I don't know that you do. What I do know is Jeremy Sohan should be starting for this team. Maybe he will after the minutes restriction is up. You're not benching Chris Paul. You're not benching Victor Wembanyama, and I'm not benching Vassell. So it comes down to Castle or Harry Barnes. Harry Barnes and Sohan are both sort of power forwards. I would start Sohan over Harry Barnes, personally.
We're on the same page, Doc. We were all over the Khalil Ware thing. We were all over the Dante DiVincenzo thing. But this one right here, I feel like we're going to take an L, Doc. It's so obvious to me to go Wemby, Sohan, Vassell, Castle, Paul. That's so obvious to me. Castle is really good, Doc. He's long. He's a great defender. He's a slasher. He makes shots. And hello, you need to groom him as well. But they went to get Harry Barnes, for the veteran thing. But to me, this is a no-brainer that Stephon Castle should be starting over Harrison Barnes. Will that actually come to fruition? I doubt it. Devin Vassell might be playing the best ball of his life right now. He's on a Desmond Bain-like streak. He's got 5 straight games with 20-plus points. In this game in France, he went 25, 3 and 4, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 5 threes. One of the best stat lines he's had in the NBA. Shout out to Ben Mathurin, 24 points in 24 points in 25 minutes. The only pacer who really felt like playing on Thursday afternoon in France. All right, Doc, let's move on here.
Vassell hit 9 of 13 shots and 5 of 6 threes and 2 of 2 free throws. Like, that is so nice. I could see them bringing Castle off the bench and starting Sohan. That probably makes the most sense because Sohan can play point guard. He can play power forward. Just throw him in there instead of Castle. Bring Castle off the bench. I'm changing my answer. I think Sohan will replace Castle in the starting lineup. Now we move on.
I do too. What I'm saying is Sohan and Castle should be starting and Harrison Barnes should not. Franz Wagner came back and played basketball and he played very well. This was a game from the Twilight Zone. The Portland Trail Blazers went into Orlando. Once daunting Magic at home, 101-79. What? This is one of the most surprising results I've seen all year in the NBA. Franz Wagner's return game, and Portland beats him by 22 in Orlando. That doesn't make sense. Franz went 20 points in 24 minutes, got right back to work. Paolo Banchero was awful. 1 of 14 from the field, 8 points, okay? Keep in mind, whatever the next game is for Paolo Banchero, play the over on his point prop. I promise he ain't going like that. We just did this earlier this week. He had a lousy game. We said play the over on his point prop. Boom, hit it in the next game. Play that for Paolo in his next game, okay? Little bonus tout for you right there. Doc, Portland's hot all of a sudden, but I'm hot with Chauncey Billups. He started Toumani Camara over Scoot Henderson. They went Robert Williams. They went with 3 forwards, Camara, Grant, and Abdia, and then went with Anthony Simons here, Doc. Camara played well. My guy, the forgotten man in fantasy basketball, 16, 6, and 3, 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, 2 steals, and a 3. But Scoot Henderson played 14 minutes, Doc. This is not cool.
No, it was not cool. He was in my DFS lineups. I've got him in regular lineups, but he also, Rick, fouled out. Scoot, come on, keep your hands to yourself, bro. Keep your hands out of the cookie jar. He fouled out. He had a bad game. Scoot has been playing so well, and I've like waged my career on him being a beast down the stretch. and then he gets benched tonight, which I was mad about. And then he fouled out in 14 minutes. You can't do that. Also, I don't know what else to say about that. I'm not giving up on Scoot. Scoot's going to be fine. Robert Williams, if you rolled the dice on him tonight with the two big men out for for Portland, DeAndre Ayton gone, Donovan Clingan gone. It was Robert Williams' time. He had 4 blocks, 8 points, 12 boards. That's all you needed. Like, he went off for what he is. Don't get suckered into it. It's a facade. It's not gonna happen again for another 2 or 3 weeks. So don't go crazy and run out and pick up Robert Williams everywhere. But if you played him tonight, good job.
I like it, Doc. Clingan, to me, if you these leagues where you only get 4 pickups in the week, it's hard to add an INJ guy because it takes up one of your spots. But if you're able to do that, go add Donovan Clingan. I think he's going to be a silly season hero. He's currently injured, but he's not out for the year. And they're eventually going to shut down Ayton and make Clingan the guy. Don't drop Scoot Henderson, okay? Don't do it. I know it sucks. He gave you 4 points and 2 assists tonight. Now we're in the soup of Chauncey Billups and coming off the bench. But he should play big minutes typically off the bench. And it's only a matter of time before he gets the keys to the car back and starts as they shut guys down. Don't drop Scoot, okay? We want to repeat that again and again. Anthony Black, really about the only thing to talk about, non-Franz and Paula related for Orlando. No Cole Anthony, no Jalen Suggs. He had a decent game, 12 points, 5 assists, steal and a 3. Over the last 5 games, like we talked about, he's been very good. He's now 6 straight games in double figures with pretty good rebounds and assists and a little bit of threes and some pretty good steal numbers. So he kept all that going. Let's move on to Toronto at Atlanta, Doc. Your Hawks took an L here. Quinn Snyder, I have a stronger sentence right here. I'm going to soften it up. He should be reprimanded for his last 2 ATOs, which are after timeout plays. They call them ATOs. Down 3, okay, because Scotty Barnes was heroic, and we told you on Wednesday night that he would be here. So the first inbound attempt, the first ATO, all of the action is going away from Dyson Daniels, who's side out of bounds. He has nobody to pass to, timeout, okay? They come back out, and Quinn Snyder changes the whole arrangement. He runs a stack on the left side of the lane on the side of the inbounder, okay? But the Raptors read the stack. They go with everybody. Barnes is blanketing Trae Young. I forget who was on Bogey Bogdanovic because he was a secondary option. DeAndre Hunter, if memory serves, wasn't even in the play. So Dyson Daniels is like, we're out of timeout. We're out of Onyeka Okongwu. And he might have grazed the rim. It looked like an air ball to me. Game over. Hawks lose. That is pitiful. Absolutely pitiful that you do not get a better look. You have 2 timeouts, 2 inbound opportunities, down 3, and you end up with Onyeka Okongwu, the last. He shouldn't even be on the court. Doc, what is Onyeka Okongwu doing on the basketball court in an offensive possession when you're down by 3 points? Garrison Matthews would have been a better guy to have on the court at that point. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Brutal coaching by Quinn Snyder, dude.
Well, he's back to the red glasses. I think that's half.
No, he had the black glasses on tonight. I can't.
Oh, he had the red ones on the last game. He's flipping it back and forth. He's keeping us on our toes on glasses watch. Biggest thing for me out of this game is Jalen Johnson got hurt again.
I know. Other shoulder, though.
Other shoulder. I think it's his right one instead of his left one. Only played 11 minutes, total buzzkill. Onyeka is in the starting lineup. He's good to go from here on out. This year, next year, the year after, etc. 19 points, 12 boards, 2 steals, a block, 6 of 8 shooting. He was great. Actually, the Hawks box score, I'm good with it. DeAndre Hunter cannot make a shot right now. I don't know what happened, but he's lost it. his last 3 games, he's probably made like a total of 4 or 5 shots. He's been really bad. But the rest of the team played okay. Toronto is sort of on a heater, Rick. Like, they're sort of balling right now. And our guy, Kelly Olynyk, and Bruce Brown, who we both said, those 2 guys are going to do stuff in this game. Olynyk only played 14 minutes. Still had 11 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, a steal and a 3. I think he had a block, and they took it away later, but whatever. And Chris Boucher somehow was still relevant, but there's waiver wire and streamer options available in Toronto in the form of Olynyk, Boucher, Brown.
I can't get with Boucher. I've been there and been let down so many times. Like, he could literally score 20 points in 10 straight games, and I'd be like, I can't, because that next game he's going to give me 5. He's just that guy for me. I've never gotten it right with Chris Boucher. I can't get it right with Spencer Dinwiddie. We'll have more on his epic night against OKC in a minute. He's Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. We are the Fantasy NBA today. So this is obviously a horrible loss for the Hawks. We told you to be careful with this on Wednesday night. Second of a back-to-back for Atlanta. It was a fresh night for Toronto, and they did not suffer from the Buckhead flu. They brought it. You mentioned they're on a heater. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. Toronto has, okay? Be careful with them betting-wise right now because they're healthy. They're about to bottom out, but they haven't done it yet. 7 Raptors scored in double figures tonight, okay? Bruce Brown is on a heater. He had 18, 5, and 4 tonight. It's his 3rd straight really good game. Olynyk is having like decent games, okay? Brown's having really good games, but we're enjoying the work of both. Scotty Barnes, 26, 6, and 3, had a big 3-ball, a big free throw. He had a block on DeAndre Hunter on a baseline drive. Scotty Barnes put the blanket on Trae Young that we were talking about at the end of the game. He took over this game. Scotty Barnes is the best player on the court. I am worried about Jalen Johnson, Doc. He's been having this right shoulder injury. Keep him out. He's got, treatment on it and stuff like that. Now his left shoulder, we don't know what happened to it yet. Okay. But he played 11 minutes. And so now we got the other shoulder for Jalen Johnson. Buzzkillville. Hopefully he can come back without missing a whole lot of time. But we'll keep you updated with that. We just don't know as we go live here at 12:20 a.m. Eastern time on Friday morning. We thank you guys for watching the Fantasy NBA today. Please help us out. Go to sportsethos.com and subscribe, okay? That would help us out a lot. Also, subscribe to the podcast, Fantasy NBA Today, on the YouTube channel, and also leave us a 5-star review. All right, Doc, let's shift our attention to Fiserv Forum. The Bucks hosted the Heat and annihilated the Heat, 125-96. Thanks, Jimmy Butler, for missing the team flight and creating those funky vibes. The Bucks are now, get this, 1.5 games behind the New York Knicks. Do you remember when the Bucks were like 5-12 or whatever it was? They're now 1.5 games behind New York, okay? Solidly in 4th place. The Bucks have won 8 of their last 9 games. Doc Rivers is killing it as a coach. Giannis and Dame are right there with the best duos in the league. Dame was really good tonight, 29, 9, and 11. Giannis 25, 12, and 4. Kind of a ho-hummer for Giannis here tonight. But Doc, and I'm focusing on the Milwaukee side. We'll get to the Miami side in a minute. Doc, something we've been tracking here. Chris Middleton coming off the bench has ruined Bobby Portis. Chris Middleton didn't play tonight. Oh, Bobby Portis had a game. It's no coincidence, guys. 16, 8, and 3 from Portis. If Middleton is in there, run for your life from Bobby Portis. If Middleton is not in there, the Bobby Portis is going to have a good game. So what you got? You may want to shift over to the Miami side here, Doc. What you got here on this blowout win for the Bucks?
Why are we starting Pell Larson instead of Jovic, who's been hot, and Jaime Jaquez, who everybody wants to see play? What are we doing?
Can I really just little brief cuss word? It's some Steve Kerr shit, dude. That's what it is. It doesn't make any sense. Earmuffs, kids. Earmuffs.
And then Khalil Ware, 22 and 10, 2 blocks and a steal. 2 threes. That's our guy. Fired up about that. Welcome back, Tyler Hero. Man, the Heat. That ship be sinking, Rick. Giannis, good game. Damian Lillard, 29, 9, and 11. Almost a triple-double. Bucks are rolling. Bucks are hot. I kind of gave up on them. I hate their defense. But they're hot. They played very good tonight. And the Heat are just beat down, man. The Heat are caught up. Like all the other Heat players are caught up in the middle of this Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley slugfest. And they're like, Khalil Ware's like, oh man, this is my time to shine. Everybody else is just like, whatever.
I like that breakdown. You're right. Khalil Ware, he does not give a flying insert expletive here about Jimmy Butler. And he's like, I'm playing, yo, and I'm doing stuff out here. Dude,
I'm going to win
Khalil
Rookie
Ware,
of the Year.
Khalil Ware is going to win Rookie of the Year. I mean, he is tracking. Right now, he looks like the favorite to me. Okay, 3 straight awesome games. Not decent or good. Awesome games. 22 and 10, 2 blocks and 2 threes. That's what he does. 2 blocks and 2 threes. That's what the Miles Turners do. The Kristaps Porzingis, the Brook Lopez's. Khalil Ware's already doing that. It's 3 games. It's a small sample, but you get my point.
Make your bet now.
Yes, for Rookie of the Year. Let me also say this, okay? I want you right now to offer up DeAndre Ayton for Khalil Ware. I want you to offer up Lauri Markkanen for Khalil Ware. I want you to offer up Kyle Kuzma for Khalil Ware. I want you to offer up Zion Williamson for Khalil Ware. Heck, Cam Johnson with Brooklyn, who I think is going to be shut down. Okay, offer these guys up for Khalil Ware right now because it's 3 games. Okay, Ayton's a double-double. Markkanen's right? These are big-name guys with big-time stat lines, and we've got 3 games from Khalil Ware. But, Doc, would you not rather have Khalil Ware, rest of season, ROS, as the kids say, than either DeAndre Ayton, Lauri Markkanen, Kyle Kuzma? I'll throw John Collins in there as well. Offer John Collins for Khalil Ware. Kessler, I'm just not sure. Doc, I don't know. They're going to shut him down. They probably are, but I'm holding out hope that they're not going to. But I know Collins and Markkanen are going to get shut down. So would you offer up all of those guys straight up 1-for-1 for Khalil Ware right now?
Yep. And Anthony Simons.
And Jeremy Grant, right?
Nobody's gonna give you Khalil Ware for Jeremy Grant. I would hope.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Khalil Ware he's hot, man. He's like Bitcoin right now. Like, give me some of that for free.
Bro, I got some Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin is surging right now. Let me go to Bitcoin. Let me see if I've doubled up my initial investment. Almost. Bitcoin, where is it at right now? $104,000 a share. I don't even know what that's like. Funny NFL money. I don't even know what that means. I think Eric Spoelstra. I love Spo. I do. I freaking love Eric Spoelstra. What the F is this Pell Larson stuff? You got to get that right. But let's move on here because I think eventually Jovic and Jaquez and Rozier, hopefully it starts to make sense. Right now, it does not make any sense, even with Jimmy Butler out of the lineup. And Jimmy Butler has ruined the Heat. Let me give you some stats before we move on to Dallas and OKC. Miami started 17-14, 3 games over 500. Okay, it's not great, but it's 3 games over 500, 17-14. Since they're 4-8. And that coincides with all the drama reaching an apex and the 7-game suspension and now the 2-game suspension. Okay, they're 4-8 in their last 12 games. That's Jimmy Butler's fault. All right, Doc, this was a surprising result. Dallas went into OKC, both teams on the second of a back-to-back, and Dallas won. Huge win for the Mavs. I think it was the best win of the year for the Mavericks, Doc. At OKC, they played SGA, they played J-Dub, no Luka, and they won anyway. I'm very, very impressed. and deep role players are why they won this game. Spencer Dinwiddie was incredible. 28 points on 11 of 14. He had a mega blast in the fourth quarter. It was like, whoa, Dinwiddie. Like, whoa. It's like Dominique Wilkins style out there. Okay, good luck figuring him out night tonight. He had 32 combined points in his previous 3 games and then popped for 28 tonight. Good luck, okay? PJ Washington flirted with the 20-20. Kyrie Irving was solid with 24. I don't think this is sustainable with the Grimeses and the Klebas and all these guys, but dang it, they went to OKC and got a win tonight, Doc, and I was impressed.
I still can't believe it. It killed me. Oklahoma City had no business losing this game. They were healthy. SGA played well. Jalen Williams played out of his mind. Lou Dort got ejected. That may have been the difference. That may be why Spencer Dinwiddie went crazy. And you finally convinced me to give up on Dinwiddie, and he does this. Like, come on, dude. And they did this without Daniel Gafford going off. They did this with Kessler Edwards in the starting lineup for the Mavs because Najee Marshall was hurt. And Olivier Prosper came off the bench with 14 points, 3 boards, and a 3. This is one of the weirdest NBA wins I've ever seen. Oklahoma City was not looking at who do they play next. That I'm going to look at that right now because they were not worried about this game at all, and they overlooked. Well, I guess they get Portland next. They aren't worried about Portland either. I just don't understand how they lost that game.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, Doc. I don't. I mean, Dallas had a lot of explosive spike games from guys that don't usually have these games. Okay, it was just one of those nights. You play 82 games, nobody goes 82-0. I don't really, you just had some Dallas Maverick players on heaters. Quentin Grimes made a big 3. Kleba made a big 3. They just stepped up, man. I mean, Dallas has good players. And if I'm Jason Kidd, I'm like, why can't you guys do this for me more often? I mean, like, we've had all these games without Luka, and, like, we've had some pitiful losses. And then tonight you do this and we go and win at OKC. PJ Washington, one of the revelations of the year. 22 and 19. He had 2 blocks, 3 steals, and 2 threes. My God, what a stat line, okay? Doc, I want to make a point here about Jalen Williams, the center who is getting a lot of run now without Hartenstein and without Holmgren. He is a pickup to me, Doc. He had 12, 6, and 2 tonight with a block over his last 4 games. He's at 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 2 threes. It's not a great stat line, but that's at least a streamer. And if you're big starved right now, which I find hard to believe, but maybe you went heavy on guards and you've been scrambling to make it up at the center position all year, Jalen Williams is a guy you should look into right now. I've always liked him. He's a good charge taker. He makes threes. He's an active guy, and he's putting up pretty good stat lines right now without Holmgren and without also Hartenstein. Are you ready to move on to Denver and Sac, Doc, or do you have more?
I just have to shout out the other Jalen Williams, who you continue to tell me is overrated. 33
by you. He's not overrated. 7, he's only overrated by you.
4 steals, 4 threes, yada, yada, yada. Can we make up our minds? Can we just start Spencer Dinwiddie for Dallas? And can we just start Cason Wallace for Oklahoma City? Wallace started tonight. Didn't start the game before. Like, these coaches are driving me nuts, dude. Just start the same guys every night.
They're tinkering like mechanics right now. It's annoying. Aaron Wiggins entered the starting lineup for Cason Wallace, and Cason Wallace, he didn't have like a nice stat line tonight, but he was back in the starting 5. The Dinwiddie thing, Jason Kidd has had weird rotations since he started coaching in the NBA, and he will always have weird rotations. He's just a weird mad scientist that way. The guy was in love with Dwight Powell, for the love of God. Who would start Dwight Powell all those games that Jason Kidd started Dwight Powell? Like, who? Why? Okay, so he's Jason Kidd, and he's going to do Jason Kidd stuff. By the way, I did really, really enjoy what Jalen Williams did tonight, a.k.a. J-Dub, soon-to-be All-Star, okay? You gave the stat line. That is his best game since December 20th. So, thanks. It took a month. You haven't had a game that good in a month, okay? So, yeah. And again, overrated by Doc, not overrated, all right? Does that make sense? In my brain, it does. All right, Doc, I want to give a shout-out to the Sacramento Kings because you and I were afraid, second of a back-to-back, rested Nuggets team. Ooh, this could be a blowout. Guess what? It was looking like a blowout. And then Sacramento started kicking ass in the second half, made it a relatively close game, right? I mean, I never really thought Denver was going to lose the game, but they made it a relatively close game and kept Jokic and all the guys in there doing stuff with a 132 to 123 final in a box score that you're going to love to read, okay? So we talked about Jokic. Both of us had him as our magic man here. The Jokic and Sabonis thing was crazy. Domas went for 23, 19, and 8, and then Jokic went 35, 22, and 17. It's one of the greatest center matchups in the history of the league, statistically, okay, with the numbers that they put up. Doc, let's talk some fantasy basketball here, okay? Some actionable stuff for us. Is Aaron Gordon ever going to get his starting job back? I don't know if you noticed, but there was a huddle near the end of the game. And Michael Malone it's Westbrook, it's Brown, it's Porter, it's Murray, it's Jokic, right? Those are the five sitting in front of Michael Malone. And standing off to the left with a 1,000-yard stare on his face was Aaron Gordon. He's like, yo, I remember a time when I was an integral part of this team and I was in these huddles, but now it's Westbrook, okay? Westbrook tonight, 32 minutes, 18, 5, and 3 with some goodies. Aaron Gordon tonight, 17 minutes, 3 points, made 1 of 8 shots. Aaron Gordon is one of the best glue guy, defensive, two-way guys in the entire league. I love Aaron Gordon, okay? What the hell is happening here? Is this a minutes cap, or has Russell Westbrook completely bogarted that starting job from Aaron Gordon?
Well, what have I said like the last 3 shows? Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic have some sort of magical chemistry going. And it's not irony that it's not accidental. It's not coincidence that Jokic did what he did tonight, playing with Westbrook. And guess what, Aaron Gordon, who hit 1 of 8 shots, who may have lost, he may have got Wally pipped for an injury. Like, he's coming back from an injury. Peyton Watson played 25 minutes. Aaron Gordon played 17 minutes. These are red flags, man. That is a huge red flag. And it's all because of Westbrook. Westbrook has totally pimped Gordon out of his job. And when Aaron Gordon was doing his thing for this team, he was very good. And he was very good at being a stopgap and a plug in the hole guy. And hey, Aaron, you're perfect for what we need right now. But guess what? Russell Westbrook is better at doing that job than Aaron Gordon was. Because it wasn't like Gordon was out there racking up monster double-doubles and doing all this crazy stuff. He was just stopgapping, in my opinion. And now Westbrook is another guy that can handle the ball, take the pressure off of Murray, draw the defense, and open things up for everybody else. This team is way better with Westbrook than Gordon, in my opinion.
I'm not sure I've ever disagreed with you more than I do right now. Dude, what Aaron Gordon helped the Denver Nuggets win a championship. I'm a Russell Westbrook fanatic. He's never even come close to winning a championship. Aaron Gordon has won one. They don't get that chip without him. in that playoff run, he guarded LeBron, he guarded Davis, he guarded Cat, he guarded Durant, he guarded Booker, he guarded Jimmy Butler in the finals. Wow, how soon we forget. And I know that Jokic and Russ have a synergy together. I see it, you see it. It's really fun to watch. Jokic and Aaron Gordon had telekinesis with one another. I mean, Jokic is making like behind the back passes, and Gordon's right there out of the dunker spot, jamming it down baseline style. Like, he is a freaking stud. I love Aaron Gordon. Dude, so we could not disagree more on this. Michael Malone, to me,
I was talking more fantasy stats. Maybe Aaron Gordon is the whole reason Denver won a championship. I don't know. I haven't sat down and analyzed that. But all I know is Denver looks a lot better with Westbrook out there right now than they do with Gordon. That's what I see.
Okay. I'm just saying Denver was humming at a higher level in 22 when they won the chip with Aaron Gordon without Westbrook than they are right now. And I know they had, some different guys. They had KCP, they had Bruce Brown. I get all of that. I'm a Westbrook guy, okay? But to me, Michael Malone, what I think is happening, Aaron Gordon's on a minutes restriction, and he will eventually take his starting job back, and Russ will go to the bench. That's what I think is going to happen. But Michael Malone loves Russell Westbrook, and there's a possibility that Aaron Gordon's going to be a bench player the rest of the year, okay? So we just got to watch how this goes right now. Aaron Gordon is a waiver wire guy right now. You don't need to roster him. If you've been holding on to him all this time, like, I don't even understand why you would have been doing that. And Russell Westbrook clearly is one of the pickups of the year.
Denver's won 8 out of their last 9 games after what I would call miserable start to the season. Not miserable like Philly or some of those other teams, but a disappointing start to the season. They're cooking, man. And I think they're cooking because Russell and Jokic are having some vibe. That's what I think.
This has been one of our better debates, Russ versus Aaron Gordon. Christian Brown is a problem here, too, for both of these guys. He is on a massive heater right now. He had 20 again tonight. He's got 20 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games, okay? The best week of his NBA career. Calvin Booth, you were right. I was wrong. I still would have, brought back KCP, but he said, no, we're not bringing back KCP. Christian Brown's ready to go. Calvin Booth was right. Christian Brown's completely ready to go. DeMar DeRozan on the sack side is on a heater, Doc. He had 24 and 6 tonight. Over the last 2 weeks, check out these numbers from DeMar DeRozan. This does not include tonight's game. The previous 2 weeks to tonight. 27, 4 and 4, 1.7 stocks, 1.7 threes. Obviously, Sack's been playing very well and winning a bunch of games. So it's coincided with Doug Christie changing how he operates his team, basically going Thibodeau on it and playing his starters a million minutes and not really playing many guys off the bench. That's really benefited DeMar DeRozan, whose numbers are crazy here over the last couple of weeks. So, Doc, let's move on to some of these late games, man. We have 3 games left to talk about. Gosh, this was a night of blowouts, man. Holy cow, all 3 late games were blowouts. So I don't really know if there's even a whole lot to spin on these joints right here. Golden State blows out Chicago 131 to 106. I know Podziemski came back tonight. 10 points, 4 rebounds in 21 minutes. I mean, a typical Steve Kerr box score. Ugh, I just vomited. Dude, have you seen this box score? We've been vibing, and this game kind of came to went final as we were talking about other stuff. Golden State, 5 guys off of their bench in double figures. Santos, 19. Something called Quinton Post had 20 points tonight. Schroeder had 11. Moody had 16. Podziemski had 10. When is the last time you saw a fucked up box score with 5 bench players scoring double figures? Steve Kerr.
Kevon Looney, 19 minutes. Guy Santos, 27 minutes. Quentin Post, something called Quentin Post, 20 minutes. Dennis Schroeder, 20 minutes. Moses Moody, 25 minutes. Brandon Bajemski, 21 minutes. Meanwhile, Gary Payton, 11 minutes. Trace Jackson Davis, 10 minutes. Buddy Hield, 1 of 7,
Dude.
3 points. You called that. You were all over that one.
Bro,
like, what are we
right
doing?
Now, bro,
what are we doing?
I just had an epiphany. Dude, you and I have been clocking fantasy rotation since the 1990s. We're the GOATs. We're the first guys to do this, okay? I invented this thing, and Doc, and I popularized it, okay? Dude, he has the worst rotation in the history of basketball. There's never been a stupider, more nonsensical, more asinine rotation than Steve Kerr's right now. Dude, tanking teams, their rotations make more sense than this, okay? Literally, it's the worst rotation I've ever seen in my life.
The only fantasy take I have from this game, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, like, this is a disaster. And yes, it was a blowout. I don't care. The Bulls played a bunch of guys, but not like that.
But Doc, tell them it's every night. When they win 108 to 106, it's the same thing.
It's every night. I am dealing with some heartbreak here because I had 3 prop effectives out there tonight. I hit the first 3 in all 3 of them, and I needed 28 points out of Zach LaVine. He scored 24. I needed 10 rebounds out of Anthony Davis, blowout, so he only gets 8. And I needed a double-double from Jakob Poeltl. He had 9 rebounds and not 10.
Break.
All losers. Bad beats. Over it. This box score makes me want to puke. It's pathetic. Josh Giddey, double-double. That's my boy. Nikola Vucevic did nothing. Weird. Let's go to the next one.
Oh my God.
I can't look at this anymore.
Oh my God. Steve Kerr, you're absolutely killing us. On the Chicago side, there's nothing going on here. Bunch of guys playing double-digit minutes. LaVine scored, Giddey scored, Lonzo Ball minutes restriction. There's nothing going on.
Back and did nothing. Like,
let's
move on.
I'm not. I'm just not a huge Dosunmu guy. I'm not. I like him. I don't love him. All right, let's move on, Doc, to another game here. Let me go to my notes here. What is coming up next for us? Let's talk about the Lakers thrashing of the Boston Celtics. And Doc, I have a bone to pick with the National Basketball Association. Okay. Once upon a time, Celtics and Lakers was a big matchup. Once upon a time, it was a Christmas Day game. Once upon a time, Brem Bushberger and Tommy Heinsohn were calling the game in the 80s, and we loved it, okay? Doc, why did they bury this game on a Thursday night in the middle of January on the second of a back-to-back for the Boston Celtics? Why did they do this? Okay? The Clippers played the Celtics last night. You couldn't have flipped that and had the late. I don't know. Because you had Washington in town and the Clippers played again tonight. You got to find a way to not have this be a back-to-back, okay? Obviously, that's what went on here, okay? This is not, ooh, what an impressive win by the Lakers. No, they had the Celtics in the second of a back-to-back, okay? And the Lakers were rested, and the Lakers played well tonight. But you can't, I can't like, ooh, it was a really impressive win by the Lakers because of the asterisk of second of a back-to-back. It's just horrible, horrible scheduling to me by the NBA. This should be a Saturday night showcase game. There's no game before. There's no game after. Boom. Celtics-Lakers meeting at the mountaintop. And they buried it in a 10 o'clock window on a Thursday night. It's so stupid to me, Doc. It's so stupid. And then the game is just butt rotten. 117-96. It was over from the moment they threw the ball up here. LeBron James, 20-14-6. Anthony Davis, 24-8. But nobody really capped out. I mean, Reeves did with 23. But, nobody was able to really kind of do their thing and flex because of the blowout factor. Tatum had 18, Porzingis had 22, Brown had 17. I don't know what to tell you. This game sucked on a variety of levels, dude.
Yeah, it did. And it was a TNT game, right?
It was, yeah.
Highly and they wonder why the ratings are down.
Bingo. Great call.
Great call. How about we don't watch the game where Derek White does absolutely nothing and Drew Holiday makes his triumphant return with nothing, and Kristaps Porzingis graces us with his presence. Has a good game. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, God, man, hey, this is another hard box score to look at. And your guy, Peyton Pritchard, trying to win Sixth Man of the Year, 2 of 12 for 7 points.
I want to see something here real quick. Is Malik Beasley averaging more points per game than Peyton Pritchard? Let me investigate this really quick. I'm on 16.2 for Beasley, and Pritchard is at, I bet he's below that. He is at 14.5. Bro, Malik Beasley is almost 2 points per game better than Peyton Pritchard. What the fuck are we talking about here? Why is this Peyton Pritchard's award? Why have we engraved his name on the trophy? Why have we done that? Why is Malik Beasley not the talk of the town for Sixth Man of the Year? Bro, Detroit's 7 games under 500 without Malik Beasley doing what he's doing right now. He's been huge for the Pistons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. From start to finish this year, would you not say that Malik Beasley has been the second most important Detroit Piston from the beginning of the year to now? Because you had Ivy killing it, and then he got hurt. Jalen Duren had a very slow start to the season. Now he's killing it, right? Beasley's been giving 20 points most nights since the beginning of the year. Has there been a Piston more important in that number 2 role than Malik Beasley?
No. But I don't think Beasley was super hot for the first month. I think Beasley started kicking after that. And Pritchard got off to a hot start. And Vegas ran to Pritchard. But I bet you when we pull up the Sixth Man of the Year odds next week or whenever, I bet you it's swinging. I bet you Beasley is going to be right there. I bet you it's almost neck and neck by next week.
It should be. And DeAndre Hunter's kind of fading into the background a little bit here with the month of January. He's been terrible in January.
Nikola Jokic, 5 straight triple doubles. Come on, man. Come on.
Dude, this is one of the best MVP races ever. SGA and Jokic, they're going to be going like, oh yeah, let me do this. Oh yeah, let me do this. It'll be like Bird and Magic back in the day. And throwing haymakers, throw their teams at each other. Doc, we have one more game to talk about. Are you ready to move on to Washington and the Clippers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's ready. All right, before we do that, I want you out there, you watching. Thank you so much for staying up late with us, by the way. It's your boys, Cam and Doc. Fantasy NBA today, Ethos After Dark. We really love you guys out there, man. Go to your favorite app store and download the Sports Ethos app. We have an app, okay? Download it. It's completely free. It's going to help you win fantasy leagues, basketball, MLB, NFL as well. I spent a lot of time today working on my MLB rankings, more dominance from your boy Cam. I print championships in baseball. I'm not making that up. I'm not gloating. It's facts, okay? But download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free, and then you'll be as good at fantasy baseball as me. Well, maybe not quite as good. I get cocky about fantasy baseball, Doc, because I just dominate with my proprietary method that nobody else on planet Earth does.
Starting pitchers.
Sorry?
You're all about those SPs, the starting pitchers.
Well, I'm all about middle of the pack starting pitchers. I'll tell you how I create a grid for starting pitchers, right? My first 8 picks will be offensive players. I punt all of the best pitchers, the Garrett Coles, the best of the best, the Cy Young type of guys. You can have them. I don't want any of them. Okay. I'm going to be taking boppers and steals and home run guys, right? And then I start taking starting pitchers. So there's 35 guys, Doc, at the top. I just cut them off. It's like the icing on top of the cake. You can have them. I don't even rank them. They're too good for me. They're priced out for me. I look at the guys in the middle, and then I parse who's going to have pop years and that kind of thing. Anyway, I'll be talking about MLB on the Sports Ethos platform here moving forward. But I'm psyched. I got my rankings. I'm going to start doing some drafts. We got one more game to talk about here, basketball style. Doc, the LA Clippers here and the Washington Wizards. Let me get to this box score. After the Clippers lost in overtime to Boston. Oh, sorry, I'm struggling here with the ESPN. It keeps moving on me. It's so freaking annoying with the pop-ups and stuff like that. All right, 110-93, Clippers over the Wizards. And Doc, we knew it was, we said this on Wednesday night. I was mad at the Clippers for resting Harden, Zubats, Powell, and Kawhi against Boston. If you played them, you would have won that game. And then have it be the Amir Coffee Bowl the next night against Washington. But the Clippers flipped that. They take an L to Boston, and they completely annihilate Washington tonight. And they could have won with Nick Batum and Amir Coffee, okay? So I hate how the Clippers orchestrated that. But this is a pretty sexy little box score here by the LA Clippers in this blowout win over the Wizards.
Triple-double for Jimmy Harden, my guy. Norm Powell played, scored 22, 3 steals, 2 triples. Derrick Jones Jr., after that mind-blowing performance in the last game, came back with 19 points and 8 boards and 3 threes and 2 steals and a block. Are you kidding me? Derrick Jones Jr. is hot. I love Derrick Jones Jr. I just do. And, maybe the Clippers did this because they didn't want to have happen to them what happened to the Thunder tonight. Get beat in a game they should not get beaten. I'm not mad at them. I wish everybody would have played in both games. But as the Rolling Stones once said to all of my children, as I played it every time they asked me for ice cream, you can't always get what you want.
I would have gotten
Bob Carrington, 12 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. He only hit 4 of 13 shots. I'm telling you, this guy and Scoot Henderson down the stretch, it's on, man. It is on.
Alex Sarr, solid stat line tonight, 14 and 10. He and Khalil Ware, to me, are the top 2 Rookie of the Year guys right now. Jordan Poole had a good game, 24 with 9 assists. And not a whole lot else to talk about from that Washington box score. They are soon to be shutting guys down. Again, offer up Jordan Poole in trades right now, okay? He had a good stat line. He's healthy. He's playing. You should be trying to get out of Jordan Poole and move him for, some no-name type of guys like a Josh Giddey. I would rather have Giddey in the second half than Jordan Poole. A lot of different guys. But, Doc, we're out of time, dude. We have talked about Brandon Miller's injury, the all-star teams, the starters being announced, a bunch of games here on Thursday. We've complained, we've hooted, we've hollered, we've extolled the virtues of some of the great players of our game. Anything that we forgot? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just got a fat pan of lasagna downstairs. I'm getting ready to go eat before I go to bed.
Tell you what, Pat Riley told Jimmy Butler, no lasagna for you. No lasagna for you. We are 4-8 in our last 12 games. So I wonder how that's going to be vetted behind the glass by the judges. All right, For Steve Alexander, for Andre Lemouche, I am Rick Kamla. We thank you all for watching Fantasy NBA Today. Catch us live on the Sports Ethos YouTube channel on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. And a reminder, coming up in 2 weeks, okay, it'll be trade deadline week, and we've got an extravaganza for you on the air at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, February 6th, covering every trade that has happened, that will happen, breaking it all down from the fantasy and reality aspects. We've got you covered with that. So, guys, we are out. I will see you with Doc next Monday night after the games, and we will have a great time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the hoops. And this show is brought to you by Bet Online.